Hey guys, what's up? Jayhan here. I'm a video game vocalist and a video game concert producer, and I'm back with another reaction video. I know a lot of you want me to react to some Clair Obscur songs, and I will get to that, I promise you that. I just think that before I tackle any other song from Clair Obscur, I should probably try to set up the Clair Obscur live stream because I really want to play this game with you guys. Hey guys, a quick update here. I actually have started live streaming Clair Obscur Expedition 33. When I was working on this reaction video, this was a couple of weeks ago, and I was in the process of setting up my live stream. So yeah, this video is a little bit late. It's a little bit behind, but yeah, I'm excited to say that live streams are happening. If you want to know when they happen, go check out my YouTube community posts. I usually let everybody know which days of the week I'm actually live streaming that game. You can also sometimes expect some Let's Plays of the game, which I try to balance out between live streams and reaction videos. So there you have it. But in the meantime, I don't want to not do stuff on my YouTube channel, so I've decided I'm going to be tackling other video game soundtracks. And today, we are going to be tackling Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but two things happened recently in relation to Red Dead Redemption 2. First of all, D'Angelo passed away. D'Angelo is a singer-songwriter. He actually contributed to the Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack, specifically the famous Unshaken song that you would hear in the game at very specific high honor and low honor moments. May I stand unshaken amidst the crashing world. I love that song so much. But this is not the song that we're going to be reacting to today, which leads me to my second point. Red Dead Redemption 2, as indicated by Roger Clark, the actor who portrayed the protagonist, Red Dead Redemption 2 came out on October 26th, 7 years ago. 7 years. I've been replaying this game so many times, and I think it's crazy to see how well this game holds up after all these years. You know, so I love this game a lot, and I especially love its soundtrack because it's a soundtrack that really allows you to fully immerse yourself into this Old West setting with, you know, outlaws running about and really the kind of dread that you feel when you're living in this kind of the society that is not quite there yet. I love this game so much. I love the story. I love Arthur Morgan. Oh, I love Arthur Morgan so much. I love that character so much, and it broke my heart the way things ended. If you guys haven't played the game yet, you should. You absolutely should. And you don't have to play the first game to actually know what's going on in the second. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, really amazing game overall. And I love that game so much that I actually bought, when they were still available, both soundtracks to the game, which includes the original score, you know, and the vocal soundtrack, which has, you know, Unshaken and a couple of other songs like Mountain Hymn, which I love so much. The song that we're going to be reacting to today is a song that I love so much, and it actually gets me quite emotional when I hear it. You all know which song it is. It's That's the Way It Is from Daniel Lanois. I did not know much about Daniel Lanois, but all I know is that his contribution to the soundtrack have been absolutely spectacular. And I still remember the time when he performed live, That's the Way It Is. The way he performed it was so intimate and so emotional. So I want us to dive in and react to this song because this song is really, really special. And I actually have a personal story to share with this. So I find it fitting that we kind of react to this together. So here's how it's going to go down, right? I want us to dive into That's the Way It Is as performed by Daniel Lanois for the Red Dead Redemption 2 game. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to talk about how that song is used in a very specific scene of the game. And then afterwards, I'm going to be sharing with all of you a performance that I had done of that song with some very, very special guests. So you guys know what comes next. Grab your favorite drink. I've got some chamomile tea in my Transformers Autobot symbol mug. I love that cup so much. I'm a huge Transformers nerd, so that kind of like justifies the mug. So cheers. All right, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Stop there. Oh, the first note, even just at the first note, not even the singing part, but the first music note, like it still gets to me. It still gets to me after all this time. And that's because this is such an intimately, powerfully emotional song. For those who haven't played the game, right? This song comes at a moment where Arthur Morgan, the protagonist, comes to terms with the fact that he is dying and his time is over. He still has, some life left in him, but he has to decide what to do with the time that he has left. This happens at a moment where he saves some of his, friends and where he sends them off to safety. And then you just have this long horse ride and this song plays. And you're just like, I love this character so much. Why is this happening? And then, depending on what you did in the game, if you did a lot of good stuff, you will have some of the dialogues echo in your mind, as if you're reflecting, as if the character is reflecting and remembering that. And, it's just it's this long horse ride, and you're hearing this good stuff you did, or if you did bad stuff, the bad stuff you did, like the way you messed things up. It's such an amazing choice of song in a situation like this. Because if we go into the lyrics of this song, you have the verse, right? The many miles we walked, the many things we learned, the building of a shrine only just to burn. So I feel like this first paragraph reflects a little bit this life that Arthur Morgan had built with his friends, with this group of people, where they were really kind of like living as outlaws, really, where they had always like a safe place to get to where they could be together. All of these people, including like Dutch, who was, leading the gang and all that. But especially like the building of a shrine. Like when I think about it, like shrine for me can either be referred to as a person, like you build a shrine for somebody, or you build a shrine representing something that is holy and sacred to you. And I feel like in the case of Arthur Morgan, it was a mix between, he really held Dutch Vanderlinde, the leader of the gang, on such a high pedestal that suddenly, when Dutch Vanderlinde starts to lose it, little by little, it's kind of like this descent into madness. And Arthur Morgan sees that happen. And what that ultimately results in is that everybody is put in danger, and there is no home for them anymore. There's no home anymore for these outlaws. So after everything Arthur Morgan and the gang have gone through, they are slowly watching everything burn and fall apart. Everything just starts to go to shit, basically. He can't help but watch. He can do something about it, but what else can you do about it? May the wind be at your back, good fortune touch your hand, may the cards lay out a straight, all from your command. So here there's a clear indication that people are going their separate ways, and some of them are going to survive and others not. In the case of Arthur Morgan, for those who don't know, Arthur Morgan gets infected with tuberculosis. He's dying, so at some point he's not going to be around anymore. So this line, this whole paragraph, is kind of maybe a way to wish everybody good luck, including Arthur Morgan, with the little time he has left. Really just like best of luck and everything. And hopefully in the remaining time that he still has left, that Arthur Morgan can still do something valuable and worthwhile, whether it's for good or for bad. Bad in the sense of like good for others or good for himself. And then we come to the chorus. That's the way it is. Simple as that. But when you listen to the vocal performance of that first chorus, it is actually weak and even actually kind of like very vulnerable. Like when you hear, that's the way it is, that's the way it is, that's the way it is, that's the way it is. The vocal performance there's a little bit of that grit to it. And it almost sounds like a whisper. It almost sounds like a sigh. It's the realization of the actual situation of Arthur Morgan. I'm dying. There's nothing I can do about it. And I have to accept it. That's the way it is. So I keep thinking about that moment because, sometimes in life you get dealt really bad cards, and sometimes you just have to accept it. You have to come to terms with the fact that nothing is ever going to go your way, no matter how hard you try, you know? And that sometimes it's just, you can fight as much as you want, but it won't change the outcome for you, for yourself. I'm going to go back to the first chorus because I really want you guys to listen to the vocal performance because it's just so beautiful.
All from your command. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Did you guys hear that? That's the way it is. That kind of, it's so unique. And I think it was intentional to put that kind of vocal performance there because it just emphasizes the fact that that's the way it is. You know, I don't know how else to say it. It's so self-explanatory and it adds so much weight. You know, just because you have some clear vocal performance doesn't mean that it can convey the whole range of emotions. Sometimes you have to play a little bit around with your pronunciation or the power or lack of power in your vocal performance. The emphasis of putting more air in your vocals or even grit, and how that impacts the emotional performance of this whole song, the emotional impact that it has on the listener. And for me, when I heard that, just like, I felt something in my heart. I felt something grip at my heart. Yeah, that's how much I love when people experiment with their vocals. You don't have to have this wide range, like you can reach as high as you want, you know, in terms of vocals, and you can go as low as you want. I don't think that's the most, you know, it's cool to have that kind of skill. But the thing that will always matter the most to me is how you perform it and how you choose to translate that complex emotion that includes solitude, you know, because you're suffering, nobody else will understand what it's like to be dying, basically. The sense of urgency as well, the pain that comes with it, emotional and physical pain. There's a whole range of emotions to interpret in a vocal performance, and Daniel Lanois does it so amazingly. Like, my eyes are welling up from this just because it's done so masterfully. It is crazy to me to see how humans are capable of creating such beautiful and iconic vocal performances. And this is such an amazing song and requires to be intimate and to understand the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 and the redemption of Arthur Morgan in this whole game. Wow. I need to take a moment because, like, I love this song so much. It's so near and dear to my heart, basically. And much love to Roger Clark. He is a phenomenal actor. My gosh. The amount of care that he put into this character, I just, like, it blows my mind. But we'll get to that much later. For now, let's keep going on with the song. Blue heron leaves the northern sky. It trusts the journey to new heights. What's the meaning of the scar if we don't learn how to heal? Should we ever be apart? Then how does it feel? And that, my friends, there's a lot to unpack here in this paragraph alone. So for me, the way I interpret I feel like there's a meaning behind the blue heron, and I'm going to look that up right now. There are some symbolic representations to blue heron, and that includes patience. Blue heron is actually seen as a hunter, like an expert hunter that waits for the moment to strike. And when it does strike, it strikes with like quietness and precision. And therefore, blue heron can symbolize the fact that it's important to be patient and to observe before tackling a situation. And when you think a little bit about Arthur Morgan and his journey, here in this moment, you learn that he has to be patient before it's the right time to know when to call out on van der Linde and his madness. He has been calling him out, but when to actually stand up to van der Linde and what's the name of the other guy? He's such an asshole, but I think that's why I kind of blocked him from my memory, because I really like the actor is amazing. I love how he interpreted that character. But Micah Bell, you son of a bitch. That's how much I love the character. No, he's a real ass, but he's such a great villain in this story. I mean, he is a crazy villain in this story. There's so many parallels that you can draw from Micah Bell and Dutch van der Linde, because of course Dutch van der Linde becomes the main villain at some point, but the way he is portrayed as a villain is very different to how Micah Bell is portrayed as a villain. Like, Micah Bell is an asshole, and he is ruthless, and he is slimy and all that stuff. But in the case of Dutch van der Linde, he wasn't always a villain, but he was brought to the brink of madness, where there was just no other way, basically. Being a villain, it was his only way to survive, for him and the gang to survive. But yeah, I'm digressing a little bit, but it's so fascinating. So we were talking about the blue heron, right? We're also talking about the fact that the blue heron kind of also symbolizes a way of being self-reliant, right? And has this, the grace and wisdom. So can we actually say that Arthur Morgan has been self-reliant, has grace and wisdom? Self-reliant, yes. Grace? If he has the grace of an ox, then yeah, sure. If he has the grace of a drunkard, yeah, sure. If he has the grace of someone who likes money, then yeah, sure. But he has wisdom. I think he has a certain amount of wisdom. He has a lot of experience. He's gone through so much. He's gone through heartbreak. He's gone through disappointment. He's grown up with someone he completely idolizes, only to see that idol fall apart before him. So yeah, he does have some wisdom, and that's something that is shown especially when he goes on that long ride where the song is playing. And when the blue heron is applied in this song, blue heron leaves the northern sky. So meaning that this something that has so much wisdom, that is self-reliant, that is a hunter, is going to be leaving, and it trusts the journey to new heights. It will go in a direction, and it will rely on himself, rely on his own instincts to go where he needs to go. That's basically how I interpret that. And I wonder if that is applied not only to Arthur Morgan, but to the whole gang as well. This idea that things are coming to an end. We all have had our shared experience living as outlaws. Now we need to go our separate ways. We need to rely on our survival instincts to get us where we need to go. Some of us are going to make it and others are not, but we have to go, and we got to go in that direction. Then you have, what's the meaning of the scar if we don't learn how to heal? Oh, I swear, this line is my favorite line in this whole song because it is incredibly, incredibly relatable. When you experience tragedy, when you experience hurt, the only way that you can, be better is that you take the time to heal, and you have to figure out how you can heal, basically. And oftentimes when we are hurt, we just hurt, and we don't know which steps to take to recover from that pain. We all have a lot of scars, like we all have the emotional scars. We may have even some physical scars, but it is clear that the scars make you who you are, right? The scars are also proof of what you've had to overcome. And some of us have had to go through a lot just to overcome those scars. They can be really deep, they can be physical, but in this context here, what's the meaning of the scar if we don't learn how to heal? It is clear that the whole gang has suffered as a result of Micah Bell and Dutch Vanderland messing up the situation, and also the inevitable that the law is breathing down their necks. You cannot be outlaws anymore. The time for the outlaws is over. The whole gang is suffering from the fact that there is no good outcome. And how do you get over that? How do you recover from that, basically? Should we ever be apart? Then how does it feel? Do we really need to go our separate ways if we still feel broken inside, if we still have these scars within us? That's how I interpret that song. It is so beautiful. It is, what's the meaning of the scar if we don't learn how to heal? That's just like, it gets to me every time. So let's get back into the chorus. Now this time, if we listen to the second chorus, right?
Then how does it feel? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Now, in that second chorus, you have the harmonies, but the harmonies from that chorus are different from the first chorus. In that second chorus, the lead singer, Daniel, he's ending on a high note, I don't know if that was intentional, but sometimes if things are coming to an end, then you want to end with a bang, or you want to end it on a high note. I don't know if that's kind of the intention here, but in that second chorus, it feels more affirming of the reality of the situation. That's the way it is. Things are shit right now. There's no better outcome. The time for outlaws is over. If we want to survive, we have to run away. We have to abandon this life that we've been leading. And that's just the way it is. In the first chorus, it's this sort of silent defeat. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. In the second one, that's the way it is. It's so affirming. It's recognizing, accepting the fact that this situation, that this life for them, for Arthur Morgan, for the rest of the gang, the Vanderland gang, it is over, it is done, and it is time to move on to something else if you guys want to survive and stay alive. And that's just so, you can hear that from that vocal performance with the way the harmonies are done, In the first chorus, the lead singer, he's singing more in the lower register, and you actually can barely hear him, and that was intentional. Whereas here, the vocals are more up front, and he even goes high up. He goes high up into the notes. That's the way it is. And just doing that, that's kind of that moment you hear that the vocalist is affirming, is accepting the situation, the current situation. That's the way it is. Sometimes like just one line sung over and over again, but sung with different intentions and different intonations and different... This is the perfect example where one line repeated 4 times in a single chorus, it works so beautifully. It works so well. When you think about it, guys, like if you knew your days were coming to an end, there's something that always kind of like repeats over and over in your head. And that's the way it is, was the line that was being repeated over and over again in Arthur Morgan's head. That's the way it is, you know. So let's keep on going here, you know, because it's so beautiful. Damn. Every time. Gosh. I love this song so much. And I keep saying this, but really it always gets to me. Because when we go to the bridge, right? In the bridge, we have shine light into darkness. Shine light into darkness. And as, you know, like, and this is being done like in harmonies, right? And then in between, like it's sung 2 times, shine light into darkness, shine light into darkness. And in between that, you have the harmonica that is being played. You can actually hear the harmonica being played throughout the song, but it's more in the background, and it is so beautifully sung. When you tell yourself that's the way it is, you try to look for the positive things in a situation. Shine light into darkness. That's basically the counter reaction to that's the way it is. So shine light into darkness. Basically try to find the good things that are still there when everything seems bleak and hopeless, which in the case of Arthur Morgan, some moments were really hopeless, and you felt really for that guy. Like when he came across that nun and he tells that he's dying and he admits that he is afraid of dying. Wow, that was, and when he, oh my gosh, like Roger Clark in that moment, wow, that made me shed so many tears, made me cry so hard. So yeah, basically the bridge is really kind of trying to find a hope in the hopelessness, the light in the darkness. And then there's this really beautiful instrumental, like this kind of like duo between the harmonica and the guitar that just plays, you know. And the harmonica feels very kind of like a little bit drowned out. And I think that was the intention, because when I think of the harmonica, I often think of like Western and cowboys and stuff like that, outlaws. And it is the instrument that is used by, you know, cowboys, cowgirls, whatever, cow people, cowpokes, I guess. No, but like when that is the instrument that I often like associate with this wild, wild west. And the fact that it feels so faint, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's fading away. It's fading away. It's coming to an end. You know, I don't know. I'm maybe reading too much into this, but that's the way I feel when I listen and analyze this song. And so then when we get back to the final chorus, that's the way it is. We have another vocalist that is doing some ad-libs to it, right? So many miles to walk. That's the way it is. So many things we've got to learn. That's the way it is. Oh, that's the way it is. Oh, that's the way it is. Like, it is... I love that part so much, because the ad-libs of that other vocalist feel like they're different intrusive thoughts that are trying to remind of certain situations. I don't know, like they just feel like intrusive thoughts. And we have that so many times when we're dealing with a very complicated and difficult situation. And that's just, yeah, it is just done and performed so beautifully. In the context of this whole game, this song is so, so important. This song is basically the redemption song for Arthur Morgan. This moment when he rides out to face off Vanderlyn and the rest of the gang, that song is so crucial in the whole Red Dead Redemption 2 storyline, because it is basically the redemption song for Arthur Morgan. It is the song, and it is played in such a crucial and important moment where as he rides off and says goodbye to one part of the gang that he likes, at least, or loves, that, you know, they go their separate ways, and Arthur is going to head out and face Vanderlyn and the rest of his sympathizers. And as he rides out, and there are, you know, he's reliving some of the conversations that he's had in the past, the moment he gets sick, or the moments where he saved someone and how much it meant to them and stuff like that. You know, and this song plays at the same time. That's the way it is. You're dying, but that's the way it is. What are you going to do now? It's just, you have scars, you are hurt and stuff like that, but you got to ride out, you got to survive for as long as you can until your last breath. Even if it's happening sooner than you want it to. Yeah. It's done so, so well in the context of that game. All right. So now I'm going to do something a little bit unusual. I'm going to show you guys my performance of That's the Way It Is. And this happened actually earlier on this year at MACFest. MACFest is like the place to be if you want to see and experience everything related to video game music, live performances and stuff like that. It's such a great time there. And, you know, I love that convention so much. It's probably one of my favorite conventions to go to. And I had the opportunity to perform a whole set there. I had organized this with Bao, who is an extremely talented pianist. And for the occasion, I had some very special guests. So it was kind of like a piano and vocals concert. But we had my very good friend, Zach Frazier, who performed with me. And also another very special guest, Glenn Stafford, who is known to have written Blizzard music for the last 30 years. He was actually among the very first people to launch the audio department at Blizzard Entertainment 30 years ago. And and we had met for the World of Warcraft concerts. And I was telling him, you know, I'm gonna go to MagFest to perform there. If you wanna discover MagFest and you wanna perform with me, let me know. And he decided a little bit last minute, yeah, I'll come and perform there. So I'm gonna share with you guys this performance, which I love so much because it was the song where everybody got to be on stage to perform together. So here it is, MagFest 2025, VGM Hits with Bao and Jayhan. Just so you know, I'm giving a little bit of a wink to David Wise because VGM Hits was his idea. I was looking for like a title for the concert that we were giving, and he was like, why don't you just say VGM Hits? And I was like, okay, cool. Okay, for those who don't know, David Wise is a composer, but he and we actually met a year ago at Gamescom, and we have performed together at Hero Fest, and we have become really good friends since then. So, and he was the one who suggested that I call this concert VGM Hits with Bao and Jayhan. So thanks again, Dave. All right, guys. So let's tackle this.
Woo! Thank you all so much for being here. Also, big thank you to the audio team. Thank you so much for all the work that you guys do. You guys are the real heroes here.
I just want to say something real quick. This is my first MagFest, and this is like amazing. Like y'all have been so awesome and supportive. I love this. I can't wait to come next year. And I just one other thing too. This is my first performance in 3 years. I got COVID and I lost my voice and I thought I wasn't gonna be able to sing again. So I really appreciate the love and support that you guys have given me. This has been amazing, so thank y'all.
Just a quick note, Zach Fraser here, he's an incredible vocalist, and it's true what he said. He actually he had lost his voice and was not able to sing since the pandemic. And this was his first time performing in front of people in a long time. And he was very hesitant at first to perform, but he was actually really happy that I invited him to perform with us. So I'm really, really grateful that he was there. I'm really grateful that he was there. He and we know each other because we've worked on some music projects together. We're both huge Sonic the Hedgehog nerds, so we did some covers together at some point. And yeah, but that's a story for another time. I just find it funny, like how everybody's like how Zach is kind of like explaining his story, and Bao is helping out Glenn trying to set up, because I actually forgot Glenn can actually sing. And he's singing in this song, so that was pretty cool. Also, another important point, guys, if you are performers, if you are musicians, please remember to thank your audio engineers, because these guys, they do a shit ton of work to make sure everybody sounds good. So, and you know, maybe they might mess up, but still they put a lot of work into making sure that everything is well set up. So be sure to give the audio engineers a really good shout out. And if you can, maybe like something to show your appreciation, maybe even a hug. I don't know if they do hugs. I would probably hug them, but I couldn't because I was in front of the microphone.
All right, so we're gonna close things with a more calm song. And if you guys are fans of Red Dead Redemption 2, this might be for you. That's the way it is. Literally, that's the way it is. That's the name of the song.
Yeah. I was actually wondering where Bao went, because basically Zach is very tall and he was just in the way in my view of seeing Bao. So I was like, where did Bao go? Okay, hold on. I just, I didn't know it, but I see it right now. Glenn was already trying to sing that part, but actually I think there was an issue with the microphone that it wasn't on yet, and I think the audio engineer was fixing that. So, wow. I'm just gonna keep on going, guys. Yeah, as you guys have seen, like playing the harmonica, and then Bao playing the melodica, Zach doing incredible vocals, and then Glenn on the keyboard, but also actually singing, but we can't hear anything yet. But I think that'll come a little bit later, okay?
Blue heron leaves the northern sky. It trusts the journey to new heights. What's the meaning of this sky if we don't learn how to hear? Should we ever be apart? Then how does it feel? That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Oh my gosh.
That's the way
I
it
can't
is.
Wow.
That's the way it is.
Oh my gosh. Let me just, now I can hear Glenn's voice. I couldn't hear him at all during the performance. Oh, and he did a good job at that. You know, like, yeah, Blizzard composer, yeah, who actually really does a good job singing. But, oh man, but like, I have to just say, Zach was very nervous performing in general in this concert, but he managed like a pro, and he did so amazing. And you know, that's why I kept looking over to him. I knew how worried he was. I knew how nervous he was, but there was something really special when we looked at each other and we're like, we're doing this. We're going to get through this together. That's the way it is. Sorry, guys. But gosh, this video has been up for like so many months, and I never actually listened to that version. Yeah, I actually, I'm not going to lie, guys. I haven't had the chance to actually see the full video, and I'm only seeing this right now only because like I had so much going on in my life, and you know, I was, you know, when it comes to my own performances, I get often very self-critical when I'm not pitch perfect, basically. So now I'm seeing this now, and I'm telling myself, actually, it wasn't so bad. Actually, it was good. It was good. Let's get to the next part.
That's the way it is. Shine light into darkness. Into darkness. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So many miles to walk. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. That's the way it is.
There we go. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all so much.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Glenn Stafford, Bao Wong, Zach Frazier, and Jayhan.
Give it up for Jayhan.
Yeah.
Okay, just don't hit your
Oh boy.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. So maybe to kind of like, all right. In the final chorus, one thing that I realize is that when I'm a performer, I can't stand the idea of not seeing my co-performers. And this is something that I've learned the hard way during this performance. I couldn't see what Glenn, like when Glenn was singing, basically. So that's why I had to take the mic off and to turn around to make sure that we timed our vocal performance correctly. And then, you know, Zach was doing his amazing vocalizing, and gosh, his vocals are so beautiful. And did you guys see how Bao Vuong played along with the harmonica? You know, like, I think like Bao Vuong is such an incredible keyboard player because a lot of the things that he did right there was really just improvised, and he's got this really great musicianship about him, and I loved performing with him. What a great performance, what a great time. Everybody was really, really happy to be up there on that stage. And, you know, as I was saying, please be careful that you guys don't hit your heads when you bow down. That was pretty funny. When I kind of like comment on the way I perform this song, you know, I really tried to play around with the intonation, the strength of the vocals, like where I tried to keep the sound clear, the vocals clear, you know, throughout the whole song. And it wasn't easy to perform this song, especially since it was quite cold indoors. You know, it's kind of like this whole we call it the Belvedere, which is inside a building, but it's still kind of like outside-ish, you know, like it's got this whole kind of a glass ceiling and all that stuff. And, you know, man, oh man, I loved performing that song with everybody. And it was such a special performance for all of us because, I mean, like I said, we weren't sure that Glenn was going to perform with us or not. You know, we weren't sure that he was going to be here, but finally he did. And I think, you know, and I keep thinking about, like, you know, everybody in this group here who may or may not have had something that could have prevented them from performing. You know, Zach with his recovery and Glenn not being sure to perform at all. But we all managed to be there, to perform together. We made it happen. And showing up is always one of the most important things to do. You show up for your friends, and you all just have a great time. That's basically how I roll, you know, like that's why I always love to invite people to perform with me, because it's not the same thing when you perform on your own. If you perform with other people, like, it's such an amazing feeling because you're doing something you're passionate about together. And that's basically what's happening here. And yeah, I was really grateful for the experience. I was grateful that everybody was there for it. And yeah, I definitely have to come back to MagFest. MagFest is the place to be, guys. If you love video game music, that's the place to be. You go there once, you will not find anything else like it. If you love video game music with every fiber of your being, you go to MagFest. That's the place where you discover amazing performers, amazing music, and just talented people overall. I mean, I know I kind of like tossed the word talent left and right. Probably skilled is more accurate. I usually use the word talent when I know someone is not just only incredibly skilled, but also incredibly passionate, and they found a way to fuse the two together. And all of these people here are talented. They are. And oh gosh, I miss them so much. They're all incredible in their own right. So we did a long video about That's the Way It Is, with a more in-depth analysis. and then comparing it to real performance done by yours truly and a couple of friends. It goes to show that this song is incredible. This song is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The game, I love the game so much. I love this song so much. And I hope I get the chance to perform this song again with these lovely bunch of people. They're really incredible. And yeah, I do miss them a lot. All right, guys. So this was That's the Way It Is from Daniel Lanois from the Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack. What did you guys think of it? What did you think of the recording versus the live performance? What did you think of the original track versus the track interpreted by fans of the game and a professional composer? That is, I still can't believe we managed to get him to perform with us. That was pretty cool. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know which soundtrack you guys want me to tackle next. If you guys want some more Red Dead Redemption 2, let me know. I love that soundtrack, and there's always so much to talk about. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next reaction video. Bye-bye.